up, you guys? It is Zach coming at you with another video. Today, we're going to be talking about Mario Tennis Fever some more, and I'm going to be doing both kind of a prediction slash wish list for the characters and the courts that I think could be included in this game. Keep in mind, this is all my personal opinion. Nothing here is set in stone yet, besides the confirmed characters that we have, which I mentioned in the last video. So without any further ado, you guys, if you enjoyed the video, definitely make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, all that stuff down below. And of course, hit that notification bell so you can be notified of whenever I upload videos and consider becoming a ZakPak member. It would mean a lot to me. And without any further ado, let's get talking about the characters in the courts. Let's start off with the characters that I think could potentially be in Mario Tennis Fever. Now, Nintendo confirmed that there are going to be 38 characters in Mario Tennis Fever, at least at launch. And I personally think that this roster is heavily going to be inspired by the Mario Tennis Aces roster, so I do think that most of the characters from Mario Tennis Aces will come back, including Mario, Luigi, Wario, Waluigi, Peach, Daisy, Rosalina, Toad, Toadette, Bowser, Bowser Jr., Boo, Yoshi, Donkey Kong, Spike, Chain Chomp, Koopa Troopa, Blooper, Diddy Kong, Birdo, Koopa Paratroopa, Shy Guy, Petey Piranha, Luma, Pauline, Kamek, and Dry Bones. So those are the characters from Mario Tennis Aces that I think are going to come back, but I did end up cutting 3 characters that were in Mario Tennis Aces that I don't think will be here, being Boom Boom, Fire Piranha Plant, and Dry Bowser. I think having at least Dry Bowser is pretty redundant, and I feel like Fire Piranha Plant is very niche, so I feel like they won't include him again, and Boom Boom is just one that I think they're just going to kind of cut. So that leaves 11 spots remaining for potential characters that could be in Mario Tennis Fever. Now, what I think they're going to do is I do think that they are going to include all the babies from the story mode as playable characters. So Baby Mario, Baby Luigi, Baby Peach, Baby Wario, and Baby Waluigi will all be playable on the roster. It just kind of makes sense that this is what they would end up doing with the gang, the baby gang from the story mode. And I feel like this is going to be something that garners a lot of criticism, that a lot of the roster now is obviously the babies. That's why I think they're going to cut a few of the characters from Mario Tennis Aces so that they can actually have room for some new characters that'll kind of take the heat away from the fact that there are a lot of babies. Now, of course, the fun part, speculating on all of the new characters that I think could show up here. The first character I want to plug in is Wiggler. Now, Wiggler was playable back in Mario Power Tennis back on the Nintendo GameCube, so I think it's highly likely that he could make his series return here, since it's been a while since we've seen him, and Wiggler has been making a comeback in games as of recently, Mario Kart being kind of the big one, so I could see Wiggler being a high contender for someone to return. Next up is Hammer Bro. Now, Hammer Bro, I feel like would include his alts being Boomerang Bro, Fire Bro, and Ice Bro. And I do want to mention here that with the characters that we have so far, I feel like certain characters like Yoshi, Toad, and Shy Guy would include their alternate colors as well. So keep that in mind. Even though I didn't mention it, they would include their alternate colors. So like I said, that includes Hammer Bro. I feel like Hammer Bro would include his alternate colors, and I feel like Hammer Bro is kind of like a whelming character. People wouldn't love him or hate him to be in the game, since we already got Koopa Troopa, Koopa Paratroopa, and Dry Bones, obviously, as regular Koopa characters. Having another one being Hammer Bro would kind of be like, something maybe people aren't a fan of, but I love Hammer Bro, so I'd be very happy to see him on the roster. Next up, we have Professor Egad. This is me asking, once again, Nintendo to make Egad finally freaking playable in a game. So many people are like, oh, why hasn't Cappy been playable? It says, the Mario Odyssey gets so shafted. Listen, the amount of times that Professor Egad should have been playable in a video game is absolutely crazy. The fact that he's still not playable in any game ever from Nintendo is just confusing to me. I don't get why. I feel like, if anything, maybe this should be his debut. I would love to see him playable. It just kind of makes sense. I don't know. Just make him freaking playable already. Next up, I have King K. Rool on the list. Given that we have Donkey and Diddy Kong, having them both here, having their main villain being King K. Rool just kind of makes sense, especially since DK Bonanza just came out just a couple months ago and is highly relevant, and K. Rool is more popular than ever right now. I feel like it makes sense for King K. Rool to be a playable character here. He's been playable in some Mario sports games in the past, mainly Mario Baseball. So I feel like, not that it makes complete sense, I don't think that it's 100% on lock that we can get King K. Rool, but I do think that it is more likely now than it ever has been in the past. Next up, we got Monty Mole. Now, Monty Mole is an interesting one. He actually is seen in the adventure mode as an NPC that you can go up and talk to, and that's kind of my logic for including him here. And I feel like he'd just be kind of a fun, quirky little pick, since Monty Mole is not really playable that much outside of like Super Mario Party and such. So I feel like he'd be a pretty warm addition to the cast of Mario Tennis, and even though I personally wouldn't be too excited, I think he'd be kind of a cool one. The last character I have here is Chargin' Chuck. The main reason I included Chargin' Chuck, even though he wasn't in Mario Tennis Aces, he was in Mario Golf Super Rush. So I do see Nintendo being like, you know what, we'll throw Chargin' Chuck a bone here and include him on the roster. And again, another character that I wouldn't care about too much, but it would be still kind of a cool one to add on the roster. So there you have it, guys. Those are the characters that I personally think could make it into Mario Tennis Fever. Now, what about the courts? Now with the courts, there's quite a few courts in the game that we've seen, but it's unclear which one of them are really just basically exclusive to the adventure mode and are just practice courts, and which ones are actual courts that you get to play on. In my mind, there are 5 main courts that we have confirmed. We have the stadium court, being the grass court that we see primarily throughout the the trailer. But I do think that given every single Mario Tennis game's history, we're also going to get a hard variant and a clay variant, being the blue and like the orangey brown colored variants of the the main stadium course. I mean, that's literally been in every single Mario Tennis game ever, so it's literally inevitable for those to return. Now we do see a hard court here that's like a practice court that seems to be in the story mode, but I don't know if that's going to be the hard court that we're going to get in the actual game. So I'm kind of tempted to say that this hard court is going to be exclusive to the story mode, since it looks like a kind of practice court. Kind of like how in Mario Tennis Power Tour, there were practice courts in that game's story mode that weren't unlockable or playable outside of it. And then outside of that, we also have the Flower Kingdom court, as well as the Waluigi Pinball court. Those courts are obviously very clearly meant to be playable outside of the story mode. I mean, we get shown those courts outside of the story mode anyways, so we know that those are actual courts. So that leaves 5 more predictions. Typically, Mario Tennis games have anywhere between 8 to 10 courts in the game. So for this one, being that it is the biggest Mario Tennis game in terms of the character roster at least, I'm going to lean on the side of optimism and say we're going to get 10 courts. The next court I want to predict is a DK Jungle themed court. Given that we see a DK Jungle themed world in the adventure mode, I have a feeling that there will be a course assigned to this setting that will be unlockable, and it would be really, really cool to get another DK Jungle themed court. I mean, we had one in Mario Power Tennis on the GameCube, so, it's not outside of the realm of possibility to get another one here. And, I made some little concepts here. There could be a monkey from DK Bonanza on the side throwing bananas onto the field. There could be a DK barrel that you shoot the tennis ball into, and it could send the ball in a random direction on the opponent's side of the field. Like, there could be a bunch of different possibilities in terms of different court shenanigans, as I would love to see those kind of court shenanigans happen in this game. The next course I want to predict, of course, is going to be a Luigi's Mansion 3 The Last Resort court, where it's basically a court that takes place in the lobby of The Last Resort, and I feel like it could be a really, really cool way to incorporate Luigi's Mansion while also incorporating the typical haunted court, at least the one that we got in Mario Tennis Aces. As for court shenanigans, I mean, there's loads of things that can happen. You can have the ghosts come onto the court, like in the original Luigi's Mansion court from Mario Power Tennis. And you can have other ghostly haunted shenanigans, like things flying onto the court, etc., etc. I think that would be a really cool way to do this court. Next up, this court idea is kind of unique, kind of not, but I would love to see a Super Mario Galaxy themed court, but with the aesthetics of something like Rosalina's Ice World from Mario Kart. Rosalina having her own court would be pretty cool, but also it fits both a space and ice aesthetic that I think would be pretty cool. In that, the court may be kind of slippery, maybe you have to be more careful about how you run around it. Maybe things like star bits can fall into the court. I think there's loads of cool opportunities for this kind of court, and given that Rosalina has heavily lent herself to that kind of icy, kind of cold theme, and of course having the outer space vibe as well, could be a really cool fit for having a court. Next up, I think a court based on the Lake Kingdom from Super Mario Odyssey would be really cool to have as well. Now, personally, I actually don't really remember this world that much, but I knew I wanted an underwater themed court because we got it with Mario Golf on the 3DS, so I figured why not get a tennis court based off of an underwater thing. And getting something based on the Lake Kingdom could be pretty cool. Maybe Cheep Cheep can come onto the field, swallow the ball, spit it out in a random direction, or maybe the ball's physics are a little bit different since it's underwater, or your physics are different because you're underwater. Obviously, there's a lot of potential in terms of altering the game's physics, and plus, you have loads of opportunities to make a visually stunning court, because underwater scenes are usually always very nice, and Nintendo does a good job with water, so I would love to see this kind of a court realized. The last court I have here is a Bowser's Airship themed court. Now, we do see an airship in the Adventure Mode trailer. Clearly, it's not Bowser's airship, but I do feel like having a Bowser themed court as the final court would make sense as well. This court, I thought there's a load of different things you can do. Maybe you can have Rocky Wrenches pop out and throw wrenches onto the court. You can have those Typhoon characters, that are off screen there, blowing and adding wind to the course, making the ball's trajectory affected, or even can blow you into the opposite direction. Maybe there could be stormy-like conditions so that rain and actual wind could affect, how you hit the ball and how the terrain feels to run on. And there's just so many possibilities for an airship themed course, and we did get a pirate ship or like a regular ship themed court back in Mario Tennis Aces, so this would kind of feel a little similar to that, but adding the Bowser aesthetic could make this court really, really cool. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, definitely let me know in the comments down below what characters and courts that you would like to see included in Mario Tennis Fever. So if you enjoyed this video, definitely make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, all that stuff I said earlier, and of course, hit that notification bell so you can be notified of whenever I upload videos. Consider becoming a ZakPak member and getting the ZakPak merch, all the stuff down in the description down below. So, until next time you guys, I will see you all in the next video.